I did manage to watch the Broken Skull Sessions, the Stone Cold Steve Austin sit down interviews. He did one with obviously Undertaker. He's done one with Goldberg. He's done one with the Big Show. He did one this week with Bret Hart. This was by far the best one he's done. Bret Hart, the Hitman. I mean, obviously his history. Very transparent, always honest. I always thought he took himself way too serious, but again, he also came out as professional and cared and he still does care a great deal about the business. And I don't know, I really enjoyed the interview. I thought it was really, really, really honest and cool. Obviously, their angle. They just discussed their angle at WrestleMania 13. That 6-month angle from Survivor Series 96 to WrestleMania. And how they actually broke down the match, because the submission match they did in WrestleMania 13 is one of my top 5 rated matches of all time. Just the story, the psychology, the storyline, everything, the whole nine. The change in the business at the time too. 1997, a great year. Bret Hart wasn't really known as a guy who could do promos at a high level, but that year, I don't know what happened. He either came out of a shell or whatnot, and he obviously changed from a babyface to a heel pretty much at that event. So it was really, really good. Stone Cold Steve Austin is actually a really natural interviewer, and his podcast, I just do it on a weekly basis, is a big clue to that. And here too, he sits down, he gets the best out of his content out of his subjects. This one was by far the best one because Bret Hart's open to everything. We didn't learn anything new about the HBK rivalry. Everything we've heard in the past about him and Shawn Michaels, in terms of the situations in the past where they didn't get along for a little while, and a couple of things, the Montreal Screwjob, everything was surrounding that. Nothing new that we didn't learn that he hasn't said in the past 20 years, and Shawn Michaels rather. So nothing new there. The really big thing you really learned in this conversation was the discussion about Goldberg and how he ended his career. That was kind of fascinating. You remember Bret Hart suffered a concussion in a match against Goldberg in late '99 in WCW. He called him unprofessional. And he admitted that other wrestlers such as Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, always get hurt while working with him with Goldberg. And he was pretty honest about that. Pretty pissed about it. Yeah, it was a really good sit down. If you're a wrestling fan, of course, I check it out on the network. A lot of things you have time on your hands. I had time on my hands to actually sit and watch everything. So I really enjoyed that sit down. And yeah, Bret Hart's a very honest guy. Bret Hart's very, very honest of all. There's a lot of shoot interviews of Bret Hart also on the internet. You can see on YouTube. He's pretty honest with that kind of stuff. About anything. I spoke about on the wrestling podcast, Tech podcast, last week about how when the news dumps were talking about was the fact that Bret Hart was doing an IG, Instagram live post last week, and somebody asked him about Hulk Hogan and his stuff to Hulk Hogan, and he basically straight up said no, he's a phony piece of shit. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that Hogan didn't want to put him over in 1993 when Hogan was leaving. A lot of bitterness there. Bret Hart was always bitter. He admitted he was bitter for a long time after WWE screwed him after Montreal. He actually had a lot of health issues as a result of that, and he let go of that after a while in the mid 2000s. So I'm glad him and Vince and Shawn and all those guys have patched things up. So